Hi, I'm Maria Hilliard, Women's Wellness Coach and founder of Women into Wellness. Welcome to my channel, the place where I provide videos on movement, nutrition, mindfulness, self-development and lifestyle to help you be your best self. So don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell for weekly notifications on videos so you don't miss out on any of my tips and strategies. In this video today, I am going to be giving you 5 reasons why you are not achieving your goals. Let's get started. So you may have set yourself goals, and these may be goals that are current or a few years ago, and maybe you've hit that wall where you are finding that for whatever reason you always hit stumbling blocks, or you always come across obstacles, or you always just fall off the wagon and your goals are actually never achieved, or you don't see them through, or they are short-termed and they don't turn into those long-term lifestyle changes that you were really hoping for. Well, I'm going to give you 5 reasons as to why it's possible you are not achieving your goals. Number 1 is that when you set this goal for yourself, you did not pick a goal that was authentic to your true self. It did not reflect your true innate desires. And perhaps it was even a goal that was impressed upon you by somebody else and what they thought was best for you rather than what you thought was best for yourself. So this is so important when setting goals, and especially making sure they are authentic, is that it's going to allow you to really tap into all of the motivation and the drive that you're going to need to make massive, consistent effort, to take action on a daily basis, and to do this consistently through a long period of time in order to see that change happen in your life and to make that goal a reality. Because if you have simply taken on board or adopted somebody else's goal for yourself, then really where is the power in you pushing yourself forward and the goal pulling you forward to be able to get through any obstacles that show themselves up, any difficult times, or even just moments where your motivation lacks or where life gets in the way? So number 1, it's so important to make sure your goals reflect your own true desires and authentic to who you are and who you are today. Number 2 is that you have not set realistic goals. Now, when we're setting goals, it's so important to get that balance right between being a dreamer, because we want to think big and we want to know that we are capable of achieving anything and not have self-limiting beliefs, but we also need to be realists so that we are not setting for ourselves goals that are completely unachievable in our lifetime or with the opportunities around us or the time frame that we have. And therefore we are not overstretching, overstressing ourselves, and at the end of the day ending up being disappointed and then thinking we can't ever do it or we can't achieve anything. So finding that balance between dream and reality is so important. So when you have established or picked your authentic goal for yourself, what you then need to do is do some research. And this is so important. I'm all about empowerment and I'm all about accountability. So you need to empower yourself with some knowledge. What is it you want to achieve? How have other people achieved it? What were the steps they took to get there? And if you can find a time frame for that, even better, okay? I'm also about accountability, because there's nobody else can really make this thing happen for you. It's going to require some action from you, and more likely than not either massive action or small consistent action on a daily, weekly or monthly basis. So you need to make sure that you do your research, you know what you need to achieve, you know a rough timeline of what you achieve, and that therefore you can start to set for yourself within that realistic goals. And what I'm going to also say about realistic goals is that you don't just set yourself, for example, the goal, let's take a look, for example, weight loss of I'm going to lose 4 stone. That's the goal. You need to start thinking about the smaller steps in between. So break that into realistic smaller steps of I'm going to lose 1 pound in this time frame. For example, I'm going to try and lose 1 pound across 2 weeks, and this is what I need to do it. And also let me add into that the importance of time frames, because if, for example, your goal would be to lose 4 stone, in time for you to go, say, on a holiday, or, you know, it doesn't have to be time stamped in that sense, but if you've given yourself a date, it's going to be unrealistic to lose, for example, 4 stone in 2 months. okay, and unhealthy, let's say, to even try. So you need to think about the time frame, adjust it accordingly, and you will only know that you're able to do that when you have done some research as to how you can get to that point, or when you have found out from someone in the know the best way forwards. Reason number three is that you have not connected to your intrinsic drive. If you've watched any of my other goal setting or lifestyle videos, you may have come across this term before. So intrinsic drive is so important. This is about accessing all of that drive that comes from within, that comes from your motivation, emotions that are internal to you. So if you haven't accessed any of the pain, the pleasure points as to what you can be moving away from and avoiding all of this pain and hurt and limitation and moving towards pleasure, then you're really not going to be using anything more than willpower. Okay, if all you're using is willpower to tell yourself, get up out of bed every day, let's go and do some exercise, because, for example, you've been told to do that or you think it's a good idea, then on those days where you really feel knackered, or you want to just rest a bit longer, or you'd really rather watch some Netflix or read a book, which all have their place, don't get me wrong, I love reading and I love Netflix, but on those moments, the only thing that's going to push you through in that case is going to be sheer willpower. Can you force yourself to do it? Can you not? However, when you have accessed your intrinsic drive and you've connected to the pain that you're trying to avoid, that emotional, deep set pain, and you have started to visualize the pleasures that you will gain when you achieve it, then that is going to allow you, every time you have that decision and you're weighing it up, to think, actually, that gives me a heck of a lot more weight towards getting my ass out of bed, getting me up off the sofa, making the right choice when it comes toward choosing what meal I'm going to have. Do you see what I mean? So it gives you so much more power behind finding motivation and drive to do it. So important to identify your intrinsic drivers. Number 4 is, just had to check I did 4 then. Number 4 is that you are letting self-limiting beliefs, perceived obstacles, laziness, all of the above become excuses as to why you can give up, why you can quit, why you can slack off. Okay, so important that you don't give yourself the easy way out, okay, of being a negative Nelly. Okay, so make sure that, like I said, if you've set realistic goals, self-limiting beliefs should have no place here. Because if they are realistic, then you already know through your research that at some point you can achieve this goal by applying these certain steps with this time frame in these small, measurable, achievable ways that you will keep moving forward and you will get there. So self-limiting beliefs have no place here already. And then perceived obstacles. So I know in life sometimes there are very real obstacles. If something happens in your family, someone's suddenly ill and you have to be a caregiver to them, you're not really going to have much time to go and chase some other goals in your life. And that's so important and that's so invalued. And that's when you need to take a step back, make sure that your goal and that your timeline and that your action plan can be adjustable to that. It needs to just be sidelined for the time being, and that you will come back to it. And that's of course something you need to do. So be flexible, but don't let that be the reason that when you then do have the time, that you just give up on it. If that goal is still something you truly desire, just pick up where you left off. Okay, don't beat yourself up about time lost, just carry on. Okay, now laziness, this is an important one, and I alluded to this before a bit with your intrinsic drive. Now, this is so important because I'm an advocate of self-nurturing and being very aware of when you need to take a break. And I experience this myself. I do periods of, huge periods of creative work, and then sometimes nearly reach that phase of burnout where I really know that for a couple of nights a week, I am just going to binge and watch Netflix. I'm going to do some yoga. I am just going to chill and listen to some music, or in fact browse things on YouTube that fill my cup and make me feel like I'm inspired. So I know that sometimes my goals that I'm working towards will get shelved for a day, for 2, or for an hour. So sometimes it's maybe just I need that 45 minutes of an evening after I've put the kids to bed where I will relax and I will go and watch one episode of my favourite show, have a cup of tea, put my feet up, maybe even give myself a little foot bath at the same time. Then that is me taken care of. So it's important to know that sometimes it's not laziness, it's you taking time out for yourself so that you don't reach burnout when you're on this pursuit of a goal, as well as managing daily life and all of the responsibilities for you, as opposed to the laziness where you just cannot be bothered anymore, where you really can't be asked to do anything. And you know, what I will ask you is, if you've got to that stage and that's a repetitive thing or it's a long-term thing in relation to your goal, then is that goal really actually something you want? Think about that, okay? Maybe that goal is not pulling you forward enough because it's not really attached to your true, authentic desires and needs right now. Maybe you've changed since you set the goal. Maybe your needs have changed, your wants, your desires. So important. But otherwise, take the breaks when you need to. If life gets in the way or you need to have some me time, you know, do that, and don't let anything else get in your way. Just pick up where you left off, guilt-free, carry on. It's not a problem. And number 5 is that you are not reviewing the process. So when you have got to this point where you've picked your goal, you have researched your timeline and what you need to do, and hopefully you've set a plan and you've created all of this, then what you need to be doing is making sure that you are reviewing the process as to what is working and what is not. And I would suggest, depending on, you know, the lifespan of your goal, the longevity of how long this goal is going to take you, you need to set a time frame. So for example, if you've got a 5-year plan, you're going to want to review that at least yearly, potentially, you know, biannually or quarterly if you're always working towards it. You know, if it's a goal that you've got 1 month to achieve, you need to be reviewing that at least weekly. And if it's a weekly goal, just check in with yourself every day. Am I on target? If something's not working, you need to be flexible enough and aware enough to notice it's not working in the first place, but then to also adapt your strategy. So you need to shift up some steps, you need to tweak this here and there, you need to work out, why is this not working? How can I put something else in place that is going to help me keep moving forward? And that's the important thing. Small steps forward. You may have 2 steps forward, 1 step back. As long as you keep moving forward, that's going to eventually get you there, isn't it? So really important to do that, and to make sure that your review is something that you schedule in. Now, some of us may be better than others at just keeping tabs on what we're doing when we're doing things, but what I suggest is you get it all down on paper. This is such an important process, and this is why I have created for you the Achieve Your Goals online course and workbook. This comes together as a package where you watch the videos, you then have structured step-by-step actions from number 1 to 15 that help you set authentic goals, and then lay out the strategy and the plan to help you achieve them. So this is one of the most powerful strategies and techniques that I use in my life, that's going to really help you embed all of the ways that you can push through and create power behind your actions and really start achieving your goals to maximize your potential for success. So I hope you've enjoyed this video and found value in the 5 reasons why you may not be achieving your goals. And if you want a structured and powerful way to actually help you set authentic goals, and then to create a plan that will help you maximize your potential for success, then you need my Achieve Your Goals course. This is an online course that includes videos and also a workbook that takes you through a step-by-step, powerful, methodical process that is going to really help you make this the time that you achieve the goals that you truly desire. So I'm going to link that down below. It's called Achieve Your Goals, and you can also find information about it on my website, which is www.womenintowellness.com. Until then, I thank you for watching, and I'm here with you on the way to your goals. You know, thank you for letting me be part of your journey. I wish you every success, and until I see you next time, I also wish you well.